as we present perimeter security technology solutions and designing the smart perimeter security system. My name is Maureen Carlo. I am the Business Development Manager for Videotec's Americas branch, and I am proud to be joined today by Frank Felice. Frank is the CEO of Anacon Systems Group in Toronto, and he is also the Videotec Country Manager for Canada. We want to get started straight away so we can get you out of here in about 30 minutes today. So I'll let Frank take it away, and we will save a little bit of time at the end to have a discussion and answer any questions that pop up. So thank you for joining us. Enjoy the show, and Frank, take it away.
Thank you all for your time, and Maureen for that warm introduction, and welcome. We're just going to move that slide over. One more. There we go. All right. So our goal today is to introduce a broader range of security technologies and discuss how they work together to increase security on high-value assets. Some of the hurdles we're going to face securing these assets, which in turn we secure the company. Cost effectiveness, mitigating loss, and lessen evolving threats. We're also going to talk about better technological choices. And at the end of the presentation, like Maureen said, we're going to talk about additional questions that you may have. Threats change. They are constantly evolving. For example, look at the increased use of drones today. Who knew? Ultimately, it all boils down to making our company money by mitigating losses. More data is being thrown at us, which is reducing reaction time with fewer operational dollars. The perimeter intrusion detection systems market size is estimated to grow from $4.12 billion US in 2016 to $5 billion by 2021 at an estimated annual growth rate of 7.1 billion. Sorry, 7.1%. The perimeter intrusion detection system market is driven by a few factors such as increasing risk of terrorism and criminal infiltration, increasing government regulation on perimeter security, and significant reduction in manpower costs. However, false alarm rates in poorly designed or installed solutions and entry-level products limits the potential growth due to the lack of confidence by the consumer. From a traditional perimeter protection design, we moved to a new concept, or frontier, if you will. We've moved detection before deter, which increases time and space to respond, earlier deterrence and prevention of loss, improved equipment and operator efficiency, and reporting patterns of life and predictive modeling. Here we look at a real-life example of how we remodeled a better solution during this mock threat assessment. The standard substation in Houston, Texas, is 345 kilovolt in size. It's approximately 2,460 feet of fence line. Technical consideration of this sensitive sites are the transformers, the control house, and all the grounding points as you see highlighted in red. You also see that this substation has some pretty important services it must support. The Houston Police Department, the railway, the water treatment plant, and the international airport. This is the traditional approach where the detection assessment was starting at the inside of the fence when the threat was already in or at the perimeter. These are the non-line of sight areas, such as the forested areas that are highlighted. So we look for more technical considerations. We've outlined the areas where we don't have line of sight. These natural lines of drift are avenues of approach. Along the west, where the culvert is, and to the east, the raised railroad tracks. And on the southwest, you'll also see a natural line of drift as it approaches the site. So now we want to label the areas with zones, keeping in mind of our technical consideration. We want to be able to prevent trespassers or an active shooter. And again, the monitoring of our natural lines of drift with that culvert and that raised railroad track. Thanks to a more advanced perimeter protection concept, we can offer increased time and space to respond, earlier deterrence and prevention of loss, improved equipment and operator efficiencies, better reporting of the patterns of life, and predictive modeling. The objective of perimeter protection is to detect a threat at the earliest possible stage and deter to maximize the time needed to assess the threat and decide on a response. The objective of a perimeter protection is to have probability of detection, and that's only half the battle. A good system design incorporates the proper use of assessment tools and appropriate response to risks and threats. This includes clearly written and practiced standing and post orders for the physical security teams. We recommend multi-layer intrusion detection sensors because no single layer is 100% 24/7. The more valuable the asset, the more layers needed. Higher security levels require multiple layers of detection and assessment to ensure a higher probability of notification, and every application may require different tools. We'll demonstrate assessment options and considerations for perimeter security solutions integrated with our alliance of technology partners. Assessment is situational verification for strong decision support. This critical step is mandatory to properly respond or not. Many times the detection is real, but the assessment process is designed incorrectly and the alarm is missed. One common mistake is not getting eyes on the alarm soon enough to verify. We have this video here that we'd like to show you. As you can see, we've detected something. And in this case, it happens to be wildlife. The best intrusion detection sensor does no good if you can't assess or validate what the alarm or event is. As you can see, we've switched this camera to day-night mode, and we're using IR illumination to be able to see clearer in low light conditions. Let's talk more in detail about the cameras. There is a major difference between the functions of an assessment camera and a general surveillance camera. Here are some important considerations. Can it assess an alarm 24/7 during unfavorable times? Does it offer enough range to provide recognizable detail throughout your selected alarm zones? Does the application call for fixed or PTZ? Optical or thermal? Each has its own benefits and weaknesses. Unfortunately, there is no silver bullet for your perimeter protection application, but choosing the right instrument sure helps. It is very important to consider the environment. which is often overlooked. We need to consider the lay of the land when preparing a proper assessment tool. There are often limitations. It could be a remote site where power, bandwidth, and communications are limited. We may have to consider using solar or cellular transmission. We may need illumination. If so, is it IR or white light? Operating in high temperatures, like it in the desert, or low temperatures in the northern parts of US or Canada during the winter. The assessment camera must be robust enough to operate continuously in various environments. Industrial sites where corrosion proof is required, or hazardous areas where the cameras may be intrinsically safe or must be intrinsically safe. In our utility substation example today, electromagnetic field can interfere with the proper operation of some products. When Videotec is installed with and grounded properly, we excel in this environment. Rain, sleet, and snow may require that you use an integrated wiper with a delivery system of a washer fluid. Domes in general can get dirty from the natural elements. In most cases, it's not practical to service them every week to keep them free from debris. Here's an example of us using a windshield washer solution.
Enjoy our European music.
Okay, so moving on to the next slide. PTC cameras need to be on target to validate the threat. It must have all the characteristics as previously mentioned in the last slide, along with fast preset recall for quick image acquisition. There should be no lag between the event alarm and verification assessment. Have a variable speed and continuous 360-degree pan, along with a plus minus 90-degree tilt for different topography, and to confirm the presence of drones if they exist, that I mentioned earlier. Domes can't see past the horizon unless you put up a really big pole, which is not a cost-effective solution. Most optical imaging devices require integrated or additional illumination for better night operation. Greater distance ranges over 900-foot mark may require thermal imaging solutions. This is a great tool for when you have fog and smoke in the atmosphere. Let's play this video for you. This video shows an image in low light at 600 feet away. To demonstrate a multi-layer detection and assessment system, we'll begin by showing the first layer of perimeter security for this substation. We planned a minimum of cameras Following preliminary evaluation, we've determined that three PTZ cameras offer full coverage of the perimeter. The PTZ cameras chosen for this design can cover 600 feet at night, thanks to the built-in illuminator with the full HD quality image that you actually saw in the last video. Being close to the roadside, we did not recommend white light, as it may disturb traffic and the residents in the area. Infrared illumination was the best unobstructed solution, offering full coverage in low or no light. The proposed camera locations give us good coverage. There is no obstructions, and the layout offers redundancy. Each camera has each other's back. Discussing our second layer of protection, beyond the fence line, the environment becomes an issue. This wide area has a varied topography with trees, residential area, and light sources. Our solution is to offer a thermal PTZ camera covering the outer perimeter. As I stated earlier, one single thermal camera can sweep the whole area and identify a person up to 900 feet and detect over a mile. This thermal advantage shown here is assessing the first 10 to 15 feet of that wooded tree line that we've outlined. And we can assess if the person hiding is an active shooter or just some kids playing in the woods. This assessment tool can see in all weather and in lighting conditions, consistently seeking a thermal image. In this layer, the camera can be integrated with the Quantum's seismic technology, or s.r.l. Once their system detects motion, they send the XY coordinates to the Videotec assessment device, and we start tracking the movement. PTZ cameras can be driven by detection sensors for alerted area image acquisition, or slew to target, for automating, steering, and tracking. Therefore, it's important that in any perimeter security design, a PTZ camera has accurate presets, absolute positioning, referencing ability using XY coordinates, redundancy with multiple pan-tilt zoom cameras converging simultaneously on an alarmed area. The assessment camera operating distance should align or exceed with the intrusion detection sensor. Here's a video of that example. In this video, we offer a side-by-side example of how SiteLogic and Videotec technologies work simultaneously. The red area on the left is the area of interest. The thermal camera is detecting multiple runners. When the runners cross into the red zone, the analytics target the runners, steering the optical camera to automatically assess the event and potential threat. The HD optical video provides usable evidence. So here is our takeaway. Detection plus assessment equals response. The principle is to have a proactive system that may have more than one layer. Detect an alarm or an event and provide instantaneous automatic assessment so a proper decision can be made, resulting in the most rapid response time. To design and install a highly reliable security solution, multi-layer detection and assessment technologies need to communicate and operate together as a cohesive system. In other words, in harmony. When we are considering a system design, we must ensure we are all on the same page of the solution. Technicians must have the accreditations and experience working with the solutions we have recommended or confirm they will be trained on the products. We have all seen too many times where an integrator wins a bid, then scrambles to have one, just one, of their technicians trained. Here are some examples of regulated industries that have raised the bar on security solution that is leading the charge on the growth of perimeter intrusion detection systems market. The NERC SIP plan is a set of requirements designed to secure the assets required for operating North America's bulk electric system. The Maritime Transportation Act, its primary intent was to prevent crime as cargo theft and smuggling could indeed threaten business operations and national commerce. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security enacted the Chemical Facility Anti-Terrorism Standards, outlining security standards for facilities considering high risk. Despite its name, CFATS affects more than just petrochemical plants. It's also encompassing industries using a list of more than 300 chemicals of interest above the screening threshold quantities. So with that said, we are now going to open the floor to take a few questions now. Looks like there are a few, and I'll answer them now. If Maureen, if you want to go through some of these questions with me, and then I'll cover them.
Thanks, Frank. Great job. So one of the questions you actually touched on a little bit. This question came up before you did, but they've asked, does Videotec tie in with any radar technologies?
Yeah, it can. Actually, I mentioned s.r.l, and we've got this integration pretty well complete now. How it works is how I mentioned earlier, where XY coordinates are triggered by the radar, and the information is sent to our camera, and we lock onto those coordinates. And as the subject moves through the field, we can actually move along with it.
And I know I'm excited to work with Spotter. We will be introducing a press release and some marketing documents showing how this works in the coming weeks. So we'll make sure to get that out to the public. Then a follow-up question, same person is asking, what other perimeter protection devices can you work with?
Well, we can work with any kind of triggering device. So, for example, fence detection systems like s.r.l or Southwest Microwave, even Protec. They have devices like active infrareds or microwaves that can detect somebody crossing their field, and we can create zones, and those zones can be activated as presets to our pan-tilt zoom solutions, whether it be optical or whether they be thermal. We can actually lock into any one of those zone areas to be able to assess and determine whether the alarm is real or maybe just a nuisance.
Well, like you said earlier, there is no silver bullet solution, so it behooves us to have a group of technology partners where we can offer complementary technologies like this to protect perimeters. So Thank you. Then finally, the last question I see is regarding VMS partners. Can you tell people, please, who some of our VMS partners are?
Well, that's good. That's a good tie-in too, because a lot of the products that we talked about, we rely heavily on the video management solutions, because alone it's not a cohesive solution unless these VMSs are present and they have their abilities. These companies like Milestone, Genetec, and we're about to announce an integration now with Exact and Verint. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize, people think, Videotec's a housing manufacturer or just PTZ manufacturer, but what's interesting is that a few years ago, I think it was 2015, Videotec won the ONVIF award, which is a real honor for an organization like ours. So, and you would think a lot of these companies that would normally win it, like VMS companies or CCTV manufacturers or camera manufacturers, for us to be part of that, it's a great honor for us. We have a whole list of VMS partners on the website, and we're going to go through some of those now. So if you go to our website at videotec.com, you're going to actually see all the auxiliary functions that are supported as well, and what softwares that we work with. And then for more information about our perimeter partners, please visit perimeterinsight.com, and you'll get some more information. So again, thank you very much all for attending, and you have yourselves all a great day.
Thank you, everybody. We will be sending out a recording of this webinar. If you're interested in accessing the recordings, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, or shoot us an email at usasales@videotec.com, and we'll make sure you can access that. We appreciate your time today. Glad we kept it just under the 30-minute mark. Hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.